Welcome to SME Insights at the SME Mission Critical Workforce 2030 exhibit at FabTech. I'm Greg Jones. I'm Director of Strategic Programs and Partnerships with SME. And today I'm having a conversation with Kevin Mendoza, Computer Science Robotics Specialist with Chicago Public Schools. This conversation will bring you insights on the first robotics programs at Chicago Public Schools. Kevin, welcome to SME Insights.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me here today.
It's great to have you. It's good to see you again, my friend.
Absolutely.
It's been about a year since the last time we saw each other inside this building.
Precisely.
Yeah. You know, I've been a fan of FIRST Robotics for a very long time. Dean Kamen actually did a keynote for us years ago, and we've been supporting FIRST Robotics teams through FIRST Illinois and in other states. How long have you been working in FIRST Robotics with Chicago Public Schools?
So I started doing FIRST Robotics as a teacher and a mentor at about 2022. And about a year and a half ago, I left the classroom and came to the central office position where I pretty much coordinate, consult, support, you name it, to get our FIRST Robotics teams, FIRST Tech Challenge teams in the district. And it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Entire year and a half I've been doing it.
I think it's super that CPS manages the FIRST Robotics teams through the computer science area, but there's so many other positions that team members have to be a part of on a FIRST Robotics teams. Can you talk about some of the teammates' positions that are involved?
Yeah, well, let me give you a small history. So CPS has been doing, or CPS teams have been involved with FIRST as early as 2006.
Okay.
Our most active team, the Lindblom Electric Eagles, team number 1781,
Yep.
they've been active since 2006. We did have a team that was originally started in 2002, but went defunct, and that happens from time to time. And, we probably had about 50 FTC teams in the league for Chicago, not just CPS teams, but in general, probably about a year before the pandemic hit. And when that hit, we kind of cut in half. And that was kind of when central office started to pick the slack up and started to, be a little bit more involved with the running of making these teams sustainable, giving them like a platform to compete at, opening schools up on Saturdays so we can have events there. And that has taken since the pandemic to get back to that number of 50 teams in a league.
Yeah.
So, on an individual team, students do a lot of the roles. There's builders, there's designers, machinists, there's coders, there's people that work with sensors and other cameras and stuff like that. But there's also a business operations side of things that teams do as well. Fundraising, gathering money, spending money, designing t-shirts, doing outreach, connecting with other schools, and really trying to spread robotics to other places that don't already have it.
Yeah, it's great. You mentioned funding, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
One of the primary reasons that teams don't maintain sustainability is because it can be expensive to field these teams and buy all the equipment. How do companies, manufacturing companies, individuals, family foundations get in touch with you to help support these teams?
So, excellent question. It is a weird elephant in the room because, we want our kids to do really fun stuff, but robotics is not a cheap project to do.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier about having robotics with CPSB with the computer science team. And as much as I would love for the world to see robotics, competitive robotics as a sport, I just know it wouldn't do and get the service with sports and athletics as it does with computer science. Sure. So it's definitely in the right place and in the right home.
Yeah.
I think the easiest fix would be for districts, not just CPS, but everywhere, to really look and fund robotics the same way they would football, baseball, basketball, badminton, bowling, you name it, right? Because all these sports can be expensive too. Equipment's expensive everywhere. But, in this time where things are changing and technology is becoming more rampant to get kids involved in and use, people can reach out to me via my email, with CPS. I have a LinkedIn, and all of my work with LinkedIn is tied to doing robotic stuff, just so that way we can get connections with it.
What's your email address?
kmmendoza1@cps.edu.
Okay.
and it's tied to my LinkedIn as well. So the other side up with LinkedIn, you'll find me.
Yeah.
And then we recently, this past year, we've been doing a lot of work with Children's First Fund, which is CPS's nonprofit arm.
Yep.
And been working with a woman there to, create content, to create flyers, to reach out to people. And that way we can get a more streamlined to having foundations reach out and not having to feel like, well, we're giving it to a school district. Giving it through Children's First Fund channels money straight to CPS Robotics, where that money will go straight to team registration, components, parts, motors, sensors, and then extra practice time, right? We do, as a CST, we do pay our teachers some money to stay after school to work with teams. And, I'll be transparent. We pay 20 hours per teacher, but our teachers work 100, 200, 300 hours in a season easily. And that's time that they volunteer, right? And so aside from giving money, I think another cool ask would be for any of these foundations, these corporations, or industry professionals to volunteer their time.
Yep.
Come spend time with these teams, spend time with these kids, and teach them stuff. It can be a little daunting, but I promise they know more than a high schooler does.
Yeah, and I know
One thing.
there are some companies that will only fund teams if they have an employee who's a mentor
Correct.
to that team too. So
Correct.
that's a good combination.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how many teams did you say you had now? Is it about
We have 30 to 35 teams competing this season. Last year we had about 30, 28 to 32. Some teams, went defunct throughout the year. Some teams started late, didn't get to compete in the state qualifier. But we have about 30 to 35 active teams at this point.
okay?
And
how many total students does that impact?
so those are FTC teams, First Tech Challenge teams.
Okay.
So they have a max roster about 15 kids. Some teams have extra kids to just run business operations stuff for them.
Yeah.
We have last year 8 first robotics competition teams, and this year we'll probably have about 6. It's a bigger beast, a bigger robot, so it comes with a lot more obstacles.
FRC teams are generally high school.
They're both high schools.
Okay.
Yes. We do have 2 exceptional middle schools.
Okay.
Run an FTC team.
Yeah.
And they're excited about it, and that's our youngest tier of kids that do FTC.
Yeah.
But we impact about 450 kids throughout the district.
Yeah, that's super.
It really is. I wish it was more, but there's other things that need to come into play to make quality a little bit better before we hit quantity there.
Sure. What is the theme for this year's competition?
So this year it's a archaeology inspired motif happening, and FLL First Lego League Challenge just unveiled theirs in August, and FTC First Tech Challenge unveiled theirs this past Saturday. We actually had an event at Lynn Bloom Math and Science Academy, where about 200 people from the city came, not just CPS. We opened it up to everybody in Chicago that's doing First Tech Challenge.
Yeah.
And we saw the game unveil. We got so that particular site was the live demonstration, and so people were calling in, people were emailing or chatting questions to a field rep that was there on site to answer questions for all of Illinois.
And then you have a kickoff on September 27th coming up?
Correct.
Yeah.
So even though the games came out for FLL already and for FTC, we're going to have a First Lego League kickoff at Taft Freshman Academy. It's September 27th. It's going to be called the Windy City Windup, and it's also doubling as an off-season First Robotics competition event. So whenever you sign up to do FRC, the cost for registration is about $6,000, and it gets you into a event for free with it and a basic kit. But to go to another event to go compete a second time, it's another $3,000. So we're hosting it, and actually somebody you might know, Tony Schmidt.
Oh yeah.
Pass.
Oh yeah.
He's been our biggest coordinator because he's the coach over there at Taft High School.
Okay.
And he really wanted to make an event that registration can be $500 or less. We can have all the Chicago area teams come out, give them a chance to get their robot up and running early into the school year, so that way they have the whole first semester to really make changes, add some adaptions to it, and just really get things like autonomous going, vision going. And so that's what Windy City Windup's all about. Just a really good opportunity for teams to get in there without having to have the large price tag attached to it.
Yeah, that's super.
So when Tony approached us, we were like, yeah, we're behind this 100%. So CS team is getting a field for the event for them.
Okay, good. archaeology theme.
Yeah.
Helps to have the field museum in town here. Are you doing some things with that museum?
Glad you asked. Yes. So they had an event. The Field Museum had an event for Sioux 1000. They had I guess it's been a X amount of years since Sioux came to Chicago. And so they had an event, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go meet some people. And I did. So I befriended a paleontologist there and essentially met with them 2 weeks ago. I was like, let's collaborate somehow, some way. Like, this is a really nice opportunity. We're a big city or a big museum. We're a big school district. Like, we should join forces here. And he was very excited about it. I would say the biggest takeaway that I wanted from there was just to have his colleagues, his peers, just come talk to kids. Come share with them what it's like to be in there. Give the kids an opportunity to learn about archaeology, what he does as a paleontologist, and all of their work. And what I left is his suggestion to, they would host space for us to bring teams in every once in a while, right?
Yeah, great.
So have like a rotating session of teams that go out, have the robots drive around and just, show the crowd what they're doing. And then the other part was him and his colleagues and his peers do a lot of research work. And the example he gave me was if they have like a fossilized set of tracks, some of the things they have to do is try to figure out what movements made those tracks, right? They have the footprints and they have bones that fitted and molded and everything, but how is that movement happening? So his suggestion was giving those projects to the high school kids to let them figure it out. And even though it could be wildly different, anatomically incorrect, whatever, just a whole different perspective for them to see. And then for the kids to try to get some real world experience of what these paleontologists do using their robotics prowesses.
Yeah, I like the critical thinking aspect there. And we probably won't see a robot that's moving around like Tyrannosaurus Sue.
Oh,
right?
it will not. No, it will not.
It's just, they wouldn't be successful on the field. would
No,
they?
but you know what? He did offer me, they scan all of their bones, all of their artifacts. And so they have CAD files of it. And many of our teams have the capability of 3D printing, metal fabrication. And so he's going to share with us some claws, some teeth, some skulls, arms, whatever. And so hopefully these teams will be able to integrate them into their robot design.
That'll be really
Just for
interesting to see. Yeah, absolutely. With this thing, you got to go for that.
For sure. It'll be a super.
Well, Kevin, it's been great having you on. I'm so excited about what you're doing. For the audience, you should know that this young man and I had a chance meeting at a different trade show here in Chicago in this same building. And we've been good friends ever since because I love the work that he's doing and you're so passionate about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think meeting you really does put the dot on the I. You spoke with Rebecca earlier and she really starts this robotics pathway and it absolutely doesn't end with me, right? It really ends with you and the people that are here in the industry and colleges, universities, and, where our kids go. Like, they're the future workforce. They're the future of everything. So giving them a place and a platform to shout them out, I greatly appreciate you.
Yeah. The dot in the I is the critical thing, right? Yeah. Have a relationship with the industry, take kids on tours, show them what the jobs look like, and, even get industry to partner some of the teams too. That's a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
Kevin, it's good to see you again.
Absolutely great.
Thank you.